It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Wednesday, October 6th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So on this wonderful Wednesday, we will get some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, realizing from the Tuesday morning message, and of course, Daniel's money is back. All right, guys, it is Wednesday, and I'm just thankful for all of you joining us here on the Morning Star Drive. Looking forward to some great preaching tonight, so let's start the day well off with today's show. Just want to remind everyone to keep liking and commenting. I want to hear from you guys and see how you're doing. Now, for me, I am still in Houston, but I will be leaving on a flight in 2 hours, so I'll be heading, more than 2 hours, right now, 11, 12, about 3.5 hours, which means I need to leave in less than an hour. So I didn't want to miss a podcast. So I'm going to make sure I get this done and upload it for you guys as soon as possible. Yes, had an amazing time over here in Houston. This morning I played some basketball. I am dead tired, and that's why you could tell in my voice is a little bit hoarse right now. But such a great wedding for Andrew and Dina. Very big congratulations out to them. For me, it wasn't just me. The wedding itself was really beautiful, and you can really feel God's presence during that time. That even when when Dina came out to walk the aisle, I was Andrew was crying, guys were crying, girls were crying. It was just really, really amazing. So super happy, and of course, the most important part of the day wasn't the food; it's actually the dancing. I haven't danced in a decade. And, it was fun to be at a Western wedding because all the other weddings I've been to, in Malaysia and Malaysia and Korea, none of them have dancing. But here in the Western countries, dancing is 100%. You have to do it. So super, super happy about that and thankful for this. And we'll be flying out soon. So this might be a little bit faster than usual, so please forgive me, but I did not want to skip a podcast, all right? Also, tomorrow's video going to be for the Espresso with Sky channel, I believe is how you can be perfect. Can you be perfect? And that's going to be a really cool video that a lot of you guys can show to your newcomers and watch yourself to explain to newcomers also. And of course, this week's Sunday edition, I interviewed Tony Perillo from Houston, Texas, and I'm in his house right now. It's not, you can tell there's a little bit echo in the background, but I'm not in a soundproof room or anything, but amazing, blessed family, and someone I really, really respect, and someone that I've known for such a long time. So super thankful for him for opening up his place to me. And of course, there's another Sunday edition, super amazing one for next week because it's going to be a national athlete. So you're seeing national team athlete. Amazing interview. You guys got to check that one out. All right. So let's get into the featured artist of the day for this wonderful Wednesday. And we're going to start off with Mariah Henry. I just saw her yesterday, right? Mariah Henry in America. The song is I Win featuring the Sumney Boys. And yes, Andrew is one of the Sumney Boys who just got married. So we'll do that first. Then PGY from the Paper Music Associates in Korea with Dr. Rain. And last but not least, we have Amatsu Sora from Japan with the cover from John Legend, All of Me. So as we're doing this David prayer time for the next 21 days, I hope that all of us can put a little prayer in for all these member artists from around the world.
This is on a high level, you can't catch us, we the fastest, you the turtle, we the cheapest. Slicing demon like fajitas, I'm just crazy with ideas, so don't you make me turn into your greatest fear. I'm just shining brightly like the star of Hollywood. I just said I care like the little engine could. Made my dreams for real with the action that I took. Celebrate the win cause it feels so good.
Thought it'd be over but we put up a fight. Move to the left because this history's right. You thought we stumbled, but we finished. Achieved victory, we did it. Put your hands up high, cause now we won. Sometimes it's hard when my head is up high. He worked too hard for you to say it's a lie. You thought
times, but I'ma just keep on just killing it. They looking at us like we villains. They silly, I'm like really, don't you know I'ma kill it. I'm not dropping low, everything I do for him is not just for show. They come and they go, but I know my value, my position staying for show. You wanna be great, you have to have the vision and the purpose for it. RP to the face, cause they're gonna all get exploited.
Thought it'd be over, but we put up a fight. Move to the left because this history's right. You thought we stumbled, but we finished. Achieve victory, we did it. Put your hands up high, cause now we won. Sometimes it's hard when my head is up high. He worked too hard for you to say it's a lie. You thought he stumbled, but he finished. Achieve victory, we did it. And my hands are up like I got that go, watch him tall like flames. And this way, too much inside my veins. We shine a light, cannot be contained.
We got the truth, we figured it out, you know we ain't playing.
Yeah, rain, cut it off, sing. Got me like, they keep fucking while we win.
Yeah, I win, cut it off, sing. Got me like, they keep fucking while we win.
Victory's achieved, finally, yeah, we going up. Victory's achieved, 316, do you know what's up? Don't come after me, you don't know what I'm cooking up. I got the recipe, come and see.
Yeah, I win, cut it off, sing. Got me like, they keep talking while we win.
Yeah, win, cut it off, sing. Got me like, they keep talking while we win.
I am Zaniac, well that's my name. I'm a 95 model, a defective robot. Oh, it's today. I have an appointment. I'm gonna meet my last moment. You're lucky to see me before I die. Oh, you're not sorry for that. I'm on my way to Dr. Rain. She's gonna bring me some sleeping pills. What a day. So good to see you, Mr. Cloud. Think I am getting worse. Where is the shit? Oh yeah. Need to wait a bit. Okay then. Oh, I sit here. Alright. Looks you are getting darker, mister. Hey, are you okay? I hear some words, but I don't get it. Why is she just kissing my rusty eye? I feel dizzy, doctor. Do you hear me? Where are you? It's a shiny It's a rainy It's bright. Where am I now? Is it heaven? Mr. Cloud, me. Nothing looks changed, but well, I feel better, thanks.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Draw me and you kicking me out. You got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on with that beautiful mind? I'm your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy to know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head in the water, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose the wind, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh. How many times do I have to tell you? Even when you're crying, you're beautiful too. The world is breathing you down. I'm alone through every mood. You're my downfall, you're my muse, my worst distraction, my rhythm and blues. I can't stop sitting, it's breathing in my head for you. My hair's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose the wind, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. I'll give you all of you. Curves on the table with both showing hurt. Risking your arms, oh it's hard, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Rub your curves and on your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose the wind, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. I'll give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
And there you go. That was Amatsu Sora, the lead singer for The Sky, and that song was a cover of John Legend, All of Me. Before that, Dr. Rain from PGY from PMA in Korea. And of course, the feature artist of the day, I met all of them yesterday, is Mariah Henry in America, I Win, featuring the Sumney Boys. All right, so let's get into some news going on around the world. We're going to start off with some coronavirus updates. We have 236.3 million cases with 4.82 million deaths, and that is a 2.04% mortality rate. Top 5 countries going by daily infection rates and daily death rates. U.S. back on top, 73,000 cases with 677 deaths, which is not bad for the U.S. It's actually really, really good. The U.K., 34,000 cases with 33 deaths. Turkey, 28,000 cases with 248 deaths. Russia, 25,000 cases, 883 deaths. And India rounds at the top 5 with 16,000 cases and 254 deaths. Over here in North America, where I am, actually Canada takes second place with 3,400 cases, but only 48 deaths. And Mexico, 2,900 cases and 211 deaths. So let's take a look at the top 3 news going around the world. And we see Afghanistan, Taliban killed 13 members of the Hazara ethnic group. And this was a report from Amnesty. So at least 13 members of the Hazara group, including 11 former government forces, were killed in Daekundi, Amnesty says. The Taliban killed at least 13 members of the Hazara ethnic group, including a 17-year-old girl in the central province of Daekundi, shortly after they took power in Afghanistan, according to a new report from Amnesty International. On August 30th, a convoy of 300 Taliban fighters entered Khyber district and killed at least 11 former members of the Afghan National Security Forces, 9 of whom who were taken to a nearby river basin where they were executed shortly after having surrendered. The rights group said in its report published on Tuesday. So a teenager identified by the name of Masuma was killed in crossfire after the Taliban targeted Afghan forces who were attempting to flee the area, and another civilian, a newlywed in his 20s, was also among those killed in the crossfire. So Amnesty International members said that the range of people who were killed were from 26 to 46, around there. But of course, there's one 17-year-old, and all the victims were Hazara, who were persecuted during the Taliban's first stint in power between 1996 and 2001. So we do see that there are a lot of things that the Taliban said that they were going to do differently, and more we see it, the more and more we see that it is not quite what they are saying, right? In second news, we have Taiwan, and they are on alert after a record 56 Chinese planes entered the ADIZ. So the island's premier expresses concern at China's over-the-top military activities and warns of risk to regional peace. Taiwan said it was on alert over China's over-the-top military maneuvers after Beijing flew a record 56 fighter planes towards the self-governing island in a third day of sustained military intimidation. Now, the first sortie on Monday of 52 planes included 34 J-16 fighter jets and 12 H-6 bombers, among other aircraft, according to Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense. And then later on, 4 more Chinese J-16s flew towards the southwestern part of Taiwan's air defense identification zone, a buffer outside of the country's airspace. Now, the Taiwanese Air Force scrambled its fighter planes and monitored the movement of the Chinese warplanes on its air defense system, the ministry said, and Premier Su Seng-chang said Taiwan needed to be on alert and that China's actions risked regional peace and stability, right? So Taiwan has actually reported 148 Chinese Air Force planes entering the southern and southwestern part of its air defense zone since China celebrated its National Day on October 1st. So that's a lot of intimidation from China. So they're very, very concerned of what this means and, could they actually be attacked in the future? So that is something that we really, really need to pray for, as we have a lot of churches over there in Taiwan. Last but not least on the world news, we have Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. They are back after a 6-hour outage, right? So social media services, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram are back up and running after an outage that lasted almost 6 hours, Facebook says. The company says the cause was a faulty configuration change. All 3 services are owned by Facebook and could not be accessed over the web or on smartphone apps. Down Detector, which tracks outages, said it was the largest failure it had ever seen, with 10.6 million problems reported around the world. So the service went down at about 4 p.m. Mean time, with users beginning to gain access to the site at around 10 p.m. So in a statement on Tuesday, Facebook said that the faulty configuration change affected the company's internal tools and systems, which complicated attempts to resolve the problems. And of course, they said there's no evidence that user data was compromised as a result of this downtime, right? So an outage of this scale for such a long time is really rare. There was a disruption in 2019 that left Facebook and its other apps mostly inaccessible across the world for more than 14 hours. And several other tech companies, including Reddit and Twitter, poke fun at the social media giant's predicament, right? So it's quite interesting to see that this is happening here. And what's interesting is on Tuesday, There is Frances Haugen, and they told she's a whistleblower, and she's going to testify before the Senate subcommittee in a hearing titled "Protecting Kids Online" about the company's research into Instagram's effect on the mental health of young users. So that's the top 3 news for today. And then we have in sporting news, we have in NFL, we had Monday Night Football, and you had the LA Chargers defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 28-14. Of course, the Chargers appear to be in the driver's seat for the AFC West title. They beat the defending division and AFC champs Kansas City last Sunday on the road and stunned the previously unbeaten Las Vegas Raiders 28-14 on Monday night at SoFi Stadium. So Herbert, the quarterback for the Chargers, finished with 25 of 38 passing for 222 yards and 3 first-half touchdown passes. In NBA news, we have the preseason starting. We have the Raptors defeating the 76ers 123-107. The Kings beating the Suns 117-106. The Warriors beat the Blazers 121-107. And the Clippers beat the Nuggets 103-102. And of course, it's a preseason, so the stars don't play, or they don't play for very long. So it's just kind of a warm-up. But in boxing, we got great news, because October 9th, next week, it's going to be Fury Wilder 3 for the WBC heavyweight title. It is 3 years in the making. The first one was a tie. The second one, Fury won. And then now this is the rubber match. And I hope that this one's going to be as good as the first one. The second one wasn't that good, right? So that is the top 3 news for sports and for news around the world. And of course, coronavirus updates, which means it is time for the golden time. And for this time here, we need to prepare ourselves for the word. So we're going to start off with "The Lord is the answer." And we would all say, "Amen." And then it says, "The Lord whom I miss." And we say, "Yes, we do." And last but not least is "Holding you in my embrace." So as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
Life is full of mysteries. Who can give us the answers that will
I'll use my life for your will. I will live boldly for you, Lord. Through perfect truth and your love, I have realized, oh my Lord, I miss you. Through perfect truth and your love, I have now grown and matured. Now I will sow the seeds of hope as I go out and preach the gospel. As I love you, Lord, I will live as heaven right. I will testify. And now on earth the Lord's ideal world is fulfilled anew. Lord, I miss you so. Lord, I miss you so. Lord, I miss you so. Lord, you've walked along this path alone. It's a path you chose to walk for me. Now I understand the love you have for me. Your love has saved me. I am truly thankful. Lord, I walk along this path with you. It's a path of everlasting joy. I will love you, Lord, and I will never change. And here in Providence, I'll fulfill the rapture. In my soul, I go to meet you and confess how much I want to be here by your side forevermore. Please accept my love, although it falls so short. For my love is true, it lasts eternally. Holding you so tightly in my arms. Can you feel my love for you, Lord? Know that I cannot live without you. I will comfort
And there you go. That is the golden time, a time of praise and worship. Before we get into the word study for today, that was Holding You in My Embrace. Before that, The Lord Whom I Miss. And of course, The Lord is the Answer. Which means let's get into the word study for today. And it is on the Tuesday morning message. I hope this, Tuesday morning message was a tough one because the wedding was the night before. We had like less than 3 hours of sleep. And we're just like, come on, we can do this. And great message once again from Sunseem. And, I like how we began the message with, if you want to listen to the message well, it's all about mentality and posture. Like, it's the same as shooting an arrow. Like, I'm sure that Korea is very good at archery. Like, when it comes to the Summer Olympics, they're very, very good at it. And it's all about posture. And if you have good posture, you can shoot it really well. So I hope that all of us here too, that when it comes, this is a message for every message is, what is the attitude we have when we come into the message? And what is our posture? And I do think, physically speaking, our posture makes a huge difference. Because it's like prayer. If your posture is like your head is resting on your bed, you're most likely not going to have good prayer, right? So the posture plays a big role too. So this week's message, God helps you so much. And I am very grateful because I play sports a lot and I get injured a lot. And we played soccer for 2 hours, played basketball for 2 hours. And I had close calls, but I never got injured. So I was super, super happy to God that we're able to do this. And, after I do this podcast, I am going to really pray that God allows me to catch the flight. So I'm not super late for that either. But, that's something I really hope that God can help me out with that too. But, all throughout the message, Sunseem was talking about, like, God, if you're the bride, then God is someone who wants to help you. And I liked how he put it. Like, this might sound like God is bored, but he's not saying he's bored. Like, it almost felt like when he said, what else is God going to do? What? He's already created the earth. He created all these things. But he gave that great parable of a husband who's made all the money he needs to make. And all he's going to do now is take his wife out on trips and stuff, right? And when you think about it, everything has been done, literally speaking, right? The purpose of creation is fulfilled. He's created all the heavens and the earth. He created creation. He sent the Messiah. Everything is done. And the only thing left is for us to love and for him to take us on trips. And you know what? I'm on a trip in Houston right now, so I'm super happy about this also. But it's something we really have to think about, how much God is really helping us. And that's what God wants. When it comes to loving, think about a husband. A husband's going to work and do all these other different things. But ultimately, for what reason? Is to love his wife, right? And it makes me think even more because there is a wedding, right? So I just went to a wedding. So I really, really hope that we can understand the 심정 of where God is coming from and how much he really wants to help us, right? Everything was created to help us. Everything was created to help us because he loves us. So the abundance of things that God has given to us is so, think about the word abundance. That's how much there is love. Even when we're not doing well, God treats us even better, right? So I like that point also that Sunseem made is a person who receives is happy, but the one who helps is happy too, but they're probably happier. Because one of the things he said is so true is the one who receives sometimes even forgets along the way what the person gave them. But it's the person that gives who always remembers. Like, don't you guys ever remember when people are arguing with each other? What do they say? Well, remember that time I did this for you? And the person has to remember, oh yeah, now I remember. You know what I mean? So when you think about this, it's really interesting because it's usually the person who did it who's pointing out to the person who received it. And, we forget along the way, which is quite interesting, right? And I thought to myself, wow, that's so true. There is this greater joy and this remembrance of what you've done for someone, looking at their face and how happy they were. And it's usually the kids. It's usually the children that forget what the parents do. And this is when Sunseem's like, has anyone ever thanked their parents so sincerely with a table of food and expressing their thankfulness and faithfulness and thanking your parents so earnestly for just raising you? How many people have done that? And that's like, wow, not many people have. And if someone did, can you imagine how shocked your parents would be? That's something that people don't normally do, right? Not many children do this, but if you do, great children. If you don't, it's kind of like what most people are like. I was like, man, I'm gonna go visit my parents in December. So I'm like, wow, I really got to think about this. So I really hope that all of us too can think about all the things God's done for us, right? How much God has helped us. And even those times we thought God didn't help us is mainly because we didn't really realize, didn't open our eyes. Or in one where something seemed like, we were kind of dumb to it, right? We have to open our eyes and see it. We have to realize about how much God is helping us this week constantly, right? So we need to have that philosophy in our hearts and our minds, which is what? It's the philosophy of believing, right? We're believing what? That God is helping us. And that is a huge thing, because those that really believe that God is helping, they're not worried, right? They feel like, wow, God is helping, I'm so happy, right? But those who don't think that God is helping are worried and they can't figure out, what's going to happen? I'm not sure what we're going to do. You get anxious and stuff, right? So we have to always tilt our thoughts and our hearts towards it's going to work, not it's not going to work, that God is going to help us. God is there. And we have to lean towards being positive more than anything else, right? So the ultimate attitude is loving God and the Holy Spirit. The ultimate attitude is looking up to God like we're looking up to the greatest King of Kings, that we are so shocked that it is God who is doing this, that God wants to be with us more than anyone else. So after this, there was just a ton of Proverbs that came out that I really enjoyed a lot of them. And that first one is kind of like, it sets the tone. God created creation because as a being of love, he pours out his love to help people every day. And he uses all creation to do this, right? God helps us to fulfill the purpose of creation. He's there to help us and help the people that are fulfilling the purpose of creation. And then when we fulfill it, he helps us without holding back. Tell me how incredible that is. God helps those to fulfill the purpose of creation. So we're already being helped to fulfill it. And then after we fulfill it, then without holding back, he is helping us. When God is helping us, right? We can't say he's not. That is the wrong attitude, right? Which means, the way Sensei put it was really good, is the direction of the vessel is wrong, right? Or it's like, it's not, you're pouring it out, but it's not getting into the vessel. And this is what God is doing for us all the time. And I really hope that, all through all these Tuesday messages, Friday messages, Wednesday messages, we're getting all these messages. And Sunstein, he's praying for us every day to be healed of diseases, helping us to get promotion, to get jobs, to do well in our life. But most importantly, so that we do well in faith. Like the Lord is always helping us. What's another one? There's another one I really, really like. Oh, this is the one. God has the hope that if he saves someone, they will do well, right? That's what God's hope. That's number 7. It's like something about God saving us from death, and then there's not a single person that God hasn't helped from death, right? But then speaking about God's Shimjung is, God has hope that if he saves someone, they will do well, which means that it's possible they're not doing well. And if they're not doing well, he'll still save them with the hope in mind that they will do well. Tell me that's incredible. Like he has that hope even when we're not doing well, but if he saves us, we'll do better. And I thought that was really inspiring, because it's not about, well, I'm only going to help you when you're doing well. No, it's more of, no, I have that hope inside that even if you're not doing well now, I have that hope that if I save you, you will do better. Right? What about number 8? Number 8 was incredible too. God is studying and researching about various things to help you, right? Isn't that crazy? Like God is researching and studying how to help us. And the biggest reason why we fail is because, well, we fail to do our responsibility. So, I thought that was really, really powerful in that one too. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. God is finding new ways to help us. Right? But the only reason why it's not working out is because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Right? So we have to be those who don't reject, or we have to realize that God is helping us. We can't say the Holy Trinity didn't help us, right? Because think about this. There's that one proverb that said, if the Holy Trinity didn't help us, we wouldn't even be here in Providence right now. We couldn't remain. It'd be impossible. On top of that, Providence itself wouldn't exist, which means that no one would be here, not even Sunstein. Providence wouldn't exist. God helped. And don't say God didn't help. Because this one interesting thing that I really like is when Sunstein was, getting very strong, like whatever's not the will of God has to be shattered. Don't say the wrong thing. He's always talking about things being destroyed, right? But then he says it properly later, and he says that mentality has to be destroyed. So he's not saying that people have to be destroyed, but we have to destroy the mentality. And that's kind of what preaching the word is, right? Preaching the word is changing people's thoughts, changing people's mentalities, and that's the bigger thing. It's about changing that part. So when you hear God's going to destroy what is not the will, we might think very physically like, oh my gosh, that's so scary. But the ultimate thing, why does God give the word and not just physically destroy people? Because the word is there to destroy the perspectives, the wrong mentalities. And that's the thing that needs to be destroyed more than anything else, right? And we need to realize is that if we don't preach the word and help these people, what happens? Then the people who are dead causes torment to those that are alive, right? Who needs to be resurrected? Not the people who are alive, it's the people who are dead. So I hope that all of us here too, we can't live the life dead in faith, right? We have to be living that life, right? It's, we have to live the life where we receive this resurrection time. And, every day, guys, Holy Trinity walking with us. So we have to pray a lot. And that was the end point, right? Is pray a lot. Have frequent conversations. Don't think, don't think that the life you're living is such a small thing. Pray and pray and pray. And, this is something we're making fun of each other today, like when we're playing basketball, is humans shouldn't be arrogant. Why? Because we're so fragile. And that's one of the things like, oh, I don't want to get injured. And, we have these little injuries here and there during basketball, like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? But that's how fragile we are. We are so fragile. And that's why you have to realize how tremendous it is to have such an amazing almighty being to be with us who are so fragile. We have to recognize what that means. If we don't, how can they walk with us if we don't understand who they are? God is asking you to live with him, right? And the more you value, the more you can live together. So anything unnecessary must be pruned, right? So I really hope that we will spend more time, especially with this David prayer, to do really well. And if you have any other things that you want to bring up for the Tuesday morning message, go ahead and put that in the comments. We'd love to hear some of the thoughts that you have about the Tuesday message too. And, that'd be great if someone else would like to do even one of these summaries for the Tuesdays or Sundays or Wednesdays or Friday messages. That would be great. Okay. So that is the end of the word study for today on this wonderful Wednesday, which means we're going to get into the song of choice. Now, song of choice, I've been listening to a lot of music, especially because we have a wedding here, dancing and everything else. One song I really, really like is from Chaka Khan, like old school Chaka Khan. The song is called Through the Fire, really, really deep lyrics. But we have, there is a cover of this song I really like from Johan Mendoza. He's also from the Philippines. I should be playing something in English, but he's singing in English, but I love this acoustic version of Through the Fire by Johan Mendoza. I hope you guys really enjoy this. And those of you guys know, Chaka Khan is like, this is the person that all the other singers that we know look up to, okay? So everyone, please enjoy Through the Fire with Johan Mendoza, which is a cover of Chaka Khan.
I look in your eyes and I can see we've loved so dangerously. You're not trusting your heart to anyone. You tell me you're gonna play it smart. We're through before
today's wonderful, wonderful song of the day. That is a cover of Through the Fire from Chaka Khan, and that is Johan Mendoza from the Philippines. His voice is amazing, very unique, but he can sing super high. All right, so that means we're going to get into the last section for today. And today's last section is, once again, it is Danny's Money. He's 18 years old, just turned 18 years old about a month ago. He's going to go through his financial life, how to make himself more financially free, his studies, and how he's going to build his finances up and reach his goals. So everyone, please welcome second generation Daniel Baker. He is from America, but currently in Korea.
Welcome back, guys, to Danny's Money. Today, we're going to talk about setting your goals for investing in stocks. So, this week is a very interesting week, or next week, because I'm going to go to the district office and I have to get a lot of stuff to finally make a portfolio account, like a bank account within the bank, because technically I'm still underage in Korea, so I can't make it on my own. And I have a lot of different documents I need to get, so it's going to take a little bit longer time before I finally get my first stock. And I'll tell you a little later what my first stock is probably going to be. But today, because last week we talked about risk, it is perfect time to talk about setting your goals. You need to know what type of attitude you're going to use, or what kind of attitude you're going to have while investing in stocks. This is very important because you need to also know the type of risk you want to take. Each investor needs to have clear goals before entering the stock market to have decent success in investing. So now, let's go into the most common investment objectives. So there is income, conservative growth, aggressive growth, and speculation. So these four I'm going to talk about right now. Number one, income. So investors that want to have income from a steady income from stocks, they'll invest in stocks that provide really good dividends. A dividend is very interesting because a dividend is a percentage of a stock that the company takes out of its profits and gives to the shareholders. Some dividends, like Coca-Cola, if I last checked, I was around 4% or 3%. And so each share you have and the company actually provides dividends, you get 3% of the share. So if it's $100, you get $3 a share. And that can, for people that want income from their investments, that can be a lot of money if you have 100, 200 shares of Coca-Cola stock. So if you want income, steady income from investing in stocks, the way to go is investing in companies that give high dividends. So the type of companies you want to invest in are companies that are very well rooted. We'll talk about this later, and has a constant amount of growth and also pays good dividends. So the price of stock is relatively similar over time, and you get stable amount of dividends each year. The next type of investment objectives is conservative growth. This type of growth is also called wealth building. This seeks a long-term capital growth, capital appreciation, capital building. You're building your own growth over a long period of time. So the goal you should have in long-term investment is obviously not short-term. You don't want to look into 1 to 2 years in the future. Look more for 10, 20 years. So the really good reason you might want to do conservative growth is that sometimes the economy might not be good, the stock market might not be good. However, it really doesn't take away from your conservative growth objective. I mean, you already take into account that the stock market will always fluctuate. However, you know that even though it fluctuates, I bought it when I was 10 years ago. Now the company, the stock, my portfolio is increasing. I'm just going to buy it. I'm just going to sell it when 10 years from now, 15 years from now, the market changes in the market in the short term doesn't really affect your conservative growth. The overall consensus is that you do not want to have too much risk when you're going for long-term growth. You don't want to invest in a company that in 5 years just suddenly disappears. The next type of common investment objective is aggressive growth. Aggressive growth is interesting because they are stocks. You invest in stocks that produce large short-term growth, but also long-term growth. A really good example of aggressive growth is Tesla. Tesla 10 years ago, I think it came out in 2012 if I'm not mistaken, the price of the stock of Tesla was very lower compared to right now. However, within the span of 10 years, it went up a couple thousand% the stock, because the company is doing very well and is very aggressively growing. Now, you want to invest in those kinds of companies. However, those types of companies, a lot of times they fail. Like a lot of companies that have innovation, they might, like the type of companies that grow really fast are the same type of company that can fail that fast. Therefore, aggressive growth is a higher risk than conservative growth. However, it can give you a higher reward in the short term. This is where we go into the little bit more sketchy ideas of investing. Let's talk about speculation. Speculation is only short-term investing. Now, if you're a speculator, then you would be on your phone every day checking the stocks that you invested. Speculation is very hard because, at least to newer investors, because you constantly have to look at the stock market, you constantly have to read the news, you have to get inside sources to do really well. A lot of time and is put into speculation, whereas conservative growth, even sometimes aggressive growth, you can actually check on it weekly, maybe even once a month, and actually have a nice time, have some growth in your portfolio. However, for speculators, it's the opposite. You constantly have to work. You constantly have to get good with your timing. Timing is key when you do speculation because it really makes or breaks how much money you actually make in a company. You buy a company stock when it's $12. Now, if it goes up to $15, you want to sell all of your stocks because it might go down. So those kinds of things are very important. Timing is also very important in speculation. This should be a no-brainer for beginner investors not to touch. You should focus on income, conservative growth, or aggressive growth when you're beginning. So those were the 4 most common investing objectives. So next time, we're going to talk about something very important for investors, and that is asset allocation. So what is asset allocation? As a preview, asset allocation is the systemic placement of your money, your investments, to optimize profits and reduce the risk. So this is not a simple process because you're trying to make the most amount of money with the less amount of risk that you take beforehand. I mean, you beforehand have to say, I'm going to take this amount of risk, and with that amount of risk, you're going to try to allocate your assets in the most perfect way so you get the most profits. This is a very difficult process for especially new viewers, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in detail next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Danny's Money. Have a nice time with the Lord. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
And there you have it. That is Danny's Money. That's the 7th episode, 7 weeks for him to do that. Super proud of him. He is juggling a lot, working, going to school, and he's doing these podcasts. So leave a nice comment for him. He's doing an amazing job trying to work towards his financial freedom. And I've already got a couple people reaching out to try and help him even more too. So I hope that he'll have even more things to talk about in the coming weeks. All right, guys, that is the end of today's podcast. Hope you guys had an amazing and awesome time. It is Wednesday, and tonight we have another service. I hope you guys super enjoy it. It's going to be a wonderful day, all right? So, everyone, see you again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can